Hello everybody, welcome to another video about our friend DSP, Darkside Phil. He did Ask the King, so I'm gonna kind of react to it or talk about it, whatever you want to call this. So let's get started. He's gonna talk about hobbies apparently. So here we go.
Forum question. So here we go. First question is from MDC Fan 101. He says, Phil, other than playing video games and doing commentary, what is your favorite hobby? Well, I've had many hobbies over the years. I used to draw. I used to draw when I was a kid.
Again, why not make your own fan art? But whatever,
know,
Phil.
Out of not really out of style, but I more enjoyed reading comic books than drawing. So then I started reading comic books. That was a thing. Collecting comics.
I don't know
also,
if reading comic books is a hobby.
Cards,
I don't think
collecting comic book and pop culture
counts.
cards throughout the 19.
I don't say I read books as a hobby or I read art books as a hobby, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I would count that as a hobby, but
90s.
whatever.
That was kind of my hobby. Then it became action figures. I started collecting X-Men action figures and Spawn action figures, and action figures were all the rage in the 90s. Then all that stuff started going out of style. And so, of course, besides video gaming, wrestling, pro wrestling was always kind of my hobby. Watch pro wrestling, commenting on pro wrestling, and even to this day, even though I've dramatically cut down on the amount that I watch pro wrestling, still I watch it from time to time.
I don't think watching stuff is a hobby. Like, I don't say my hobby is watching South Park or something. I mean, I like watching South Park. I think it would. I mean, you know, like the podcast used to do called Smart Guys, I guess. That would be a hobby. Like, you're doing a show on the side, whatever. Or, like, doing some kind of activity. That's a hobby. Not, I sit down and watch TV or I read a book. I don't know. I don't consider those hobbies. I've never heard anyone say I read books as a hobby, but whatever.
I still enjoy giving my comments about it. It's still a fun thing to watch. I don't watch it anywhere nearly as much as I did when I was doing Smart Guys, but I still enjoy watching it from time to time. And the other thing I would definitely say, I do consider myself kind of a movie buff when it comes to things like comedies, horror movies, that kind of stuff. Guys. I do enjoy, watching movies a lot. And in fact, during the month of October, I do a Halloween movie marathon. Leanna and I are doing it again this year, starting tonight.
You might hear the charger snap.
Once a night, at least we're watching a horror movie of some sort, whether it's a classic, a reboot, whatever. We're going to watch one horror movie a night. And we're going to try to watch a ton. Last year, we went through the more cliche slasher stuff, like we watched the Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Street, stuff like that. This year, we're going to go for more Universal classic horror movies with the classic Universal monsters. We're going to look for more well-renowned, like The Shining, movies like that. Movies that didn't have a huge franchise. Stuff like that is what we're probably going to focus on this year. So if you're interested in what we're watching, check on Twitter, @TheyCallMeDSP. Nightly, I'll probably tell you what we're watching as a horror movie marathon this month, all right? That's really my hobbies. I really don't have too much outside of that. I don't watch sports. I'm not into, say, too much television. I do watch some television, but not too much. I try to stay relevant. Like, for example, right now I'm watching Scream Queens. I'm watching the new Muppet Show. I'm watching Fear the Walking Dead. I'm trying to watch things that are pertinent to pop culture, so if something does happen, I can maybe reference it in my playthroughs. But for the most part, I'm more of a movie buff than a television buff, okay?
You know that.
All right.
That out of the TV shows, he's saying that he's open to kind of mix with his gears. Kind of tells him the kind of viewers he gets, because Scream Queens is a Fox show. From what I've seen, I'm assuming that the demographic is like high school, middle school. Fear the Walking Dead, that's kind of general, but Muppets, and yeah, Muppets. I mean, really. Like, hey, I'm not gonna lie, I saw the Muppet movie, the one with, the one that came out, like, before the second sequel to it. I can't remember, it came out, like, a few years ago. But I watched it on an airplane, so I saw it for free. I didn't, like, go out and see it. But, that's different. I mean, I wouldn't go watch the show. I wouldn't watch the TV show. I mean, that's not for me. I don't know.
Next question, this one's from Jad F. And he says, Phil, what is your honest opinion on the state of the PlayStation Network at the moment?
This is
Do you think that from the introduction of PlayStation Plus until now, the quality has improved enough to say that its competitor Xbox Live is slacking, or do you still think that there's some major issues and concerns with the whole?
Here we go. He's gonna time to slam Sony.
PS Plus members, DLC distribution, and overall stability. I know that you were a longtime Xbox 360 gamer, so you can make a parallel to the early years of Xbox Live, the latter years, and the current competition, which is happening in the console market with Sony. Well, here's the thing, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I love the PlayStation 4. It is my console of choice for this console generation simply because, all right, when the consoles launched 2 years ago, games were performing better on the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 had better frame rate and better visuals when it came to resolution. Overall, more so than the Xbox 360. And even to this day, even though Metal Gear Solid 5 ran at a higher resolution on PlayStation 4 at the same frame rate than it did on a lower resolution on the Xbox One. That's really the reason.
But, you know, I saw a friend play Metal Gear Solid 5 on his Xbox One, and it looked just as good. I mean, yeah, you know, there's that difference with the resolution, but I mean, it looked good, you know, for an Xbox One game. I wouldn't be like, oh, this isn't 1080p, I'm not going to touch it. So, okay, Phil, I mean, you're just Mr. Graphics whore over here.
I use the PlayStation 4 over the Xbox One, okay? However, I will say this, the one negative that I can say about the whole PlayStation 4 experience has been PlayStation Network and how inconsistent it is. So let me explain what I mean by that.
He made so many videos talking about Sony. I would be surprised if a DSP fan commented on this video saying, I didn't know what he means by this, because he complains about Sony's service every single time he has the chance to shit on their service and how inconsistent they are. Instead of just playing another game or dealing with it, he made a rant video about it, you know, months ago, saying like, well, you know, they should have released Resident Evil Revelations 2 episode whatever the same time as the first episode, and this is ridiculous, and blah 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 blah, and it's not the same as Xbox. He kept arguing about it. He kept whining about it. So why is he talking about this again in such full detail? Why pick this question? He picks questions and then he answers the ones that we already know. I mean, this might be a Patreon question, and I just want to say, to the person who paid $20 to ask that question, you couldn't do your own research and understand why Phil thinks PlayStation Network is a piece of shit? Whatever.
When I used to play everything on the Xbox 360 during the last console generation, I pretty much
good
knew
use of $20.
New releases,
that's all I gotta say.
DLC expansions would all come out overnight. And I could wake up in the morning and I could trust that on Tuesday morning, that stuff would be ready to play. I remember several times I would do a Fallout DLC, like Fallout New Vegas, when the DLCs went live overnight at like 2 in the morning. I would play them at 2 in the morning and have a drink and play them overnight for like 5, 6, 7 hours because they came out so quickly. Okay? And I enjoyed that experience. I also enjoyed the fact that when I played games on the Xbox 360, I could, number one, almost always get a match. No problem with matchmaking or anything like that. And number two, the voice communication was great. I could understand what people were saying. If you were playing a team-based shooter, you could actually understand what people were saying on their microphones. Now, of course, that was a double-edged sword because 90% of the time it was a little kid saying, fucking shit and titty dicks and twitch your nipple, fuck. And it was like, I don't need to hear that
That's
shit,
like
right?
his commentary
but
on
for
all
when
his
I actually
videos.
had co-op, it was
like,
great. People could hear what people were saying. For my recording purposes, it was awesome. PlayStation Network is now in the same model as Xbox Live. The last generation, it wasn't. Last console generation, when it was PS3 versus Xbox 360, Xbox 360 Gold, you know, Live Gold was a paid service, and PSN was always free.
Okay, that's my... I thought it was coming from his end, that noise, but you might hear my fans. I'm on my computer. I'm sorry. So
you can make these excuses. Oh, the voice chat sucks, but it's free. The matchmaking's not as good, but it's free. Okay, but now it's a paid-for service. If you want to do the multiplayer online, you have to pay, just like Xbox Live. But the services are not equivalent. I'm sorry, they're not. They're just not equivalent.
I think they're equivalent, in my opinion.
Game releases that come out at midnight on Xbox One all the time, and they very frequently don't come out at the same time on PlayStation Network. DLCs this year have been infamous for this. The season pass that I bought for Mortal Kombat X, Mortal Kombat 10, whatever you want to call it, was a fucking nightmare. Seriously.
A fucking nightmare.
I wanted to play with these new characters on release day, but frequently they weren't available on the PlayStation Network until late in the afternoon, if not later in the day, on the release day, versus they were already up since midnight the night before on Xbox Live. PlayStation Network still to this day does not update consistently at a consistent time. You don't know when the new game will show up, when the DLC will show up, and it's all a big confusing thing. And the question is why? If Xbox obviously has a set schedule,
isn't a big deal.
Xbox obviously has it down. They have a system that works. Why hasn't PlayStation done that? And I will again say this. Voice chat on fucking PlayStation 4 sounds like fucking shit. And I will stick to my guns on this. I've used...
Okay. Everyone, remember the time when he was playing Mortal Kombat 10, and I don't remember the guy's PlayStation name, but he asked Phil, "Oh, Phil, why did you make on Twitch? Why did you change the chat to sub-only mode?" We heard that crystal clear. He heard it crystal clear. He immediately got salty about it and tried to mute the player and did all this kind of stuff, and he got really upset over it. So yeah, I don't even think that the audio is that shitty. I mean, I've used the mic a few times. I was able to hear things fine. I mean, I used the Metal Gear headsets before. The one that I did an unboxing with. I used those. Those were good. I mean, they might not have been like studio quality, whatever, but I was able to hear what the people were saying, and I was able to talk back, and they were able to hear me. I've never, had this issue that Phil claims to have, and in his videos, you could hear the chat perfectly fine, or at least good enough to hear him. So, okay, Phil. I mean, I had more of an issue with the Xbox 360 sometimes, but I mean, they're both the same kind of quality, in my opinion. I don't really see a difference.
Wired headsets, I've used wireless Bluetooth headsets, I've used every possible headset. It sounds terrible. It sounds like someone is inside.
When the guy, okay, again, go back to that video, Mortal Kombat 10, where Phil got really salty and encouraged his fans to bully this guy. Did that guy at all sound like this?
And half the time, you can't even really understand what people are saying.
Nope.
And I don't understand why Xbox has this really high-quality voice chat, and PlayStation Network, to this day, it sounds like garbage. I don't understand it. I have incredibly expensive headsets, and people tell me I sound like shit. So what is up with PlayStation Network? There's no... It's not equality. It's really not. It's not equality between the two networks. If I were buying a console solely on network experience, I'd go for Xbox One. But in this case, this console generation was not equal at launch, and therefore that's why I kind of play everything on PlayStation 4 over Xbox One. There you have it. There's my opinion on the two. Okay.
What kind of opinion is what?
Okay.
Hold on.
Next.
I want to make sure this is okay. On to part 2. You can move on, guys. You can move on.
After working in the world.
Hold on, Phil. I did kind of watch some of these early, so don't mind me. What's the point of it? Okay, let's do this one. This one sounds good.
Right here. There's been a lot of uproar during the last and current generation consoles about the way that companies are handling DLCs, pre-orders, and season passes for their games. Specifically, companies like Capcom, who are selling on-disc content as DLC, Rocksteady, who's selling expensive season passes but not even telling the consumer what's going to be in the season pass ahead of time, and Turtle Rock Studios selling Monsters for Evolve when the original game only had 3 to begin with, and most people said didn't have enough content to warrant a retail release. My question is, why do people bitch about these said practices and yet still buy the content instead of just not buying the content to begin with? It seems counterproductive to bitch about something and yet still buy it, and also sets a bad precedent with game companies. Alright.
But the thing with that is this. When I buy a game like Batman Arkham Knight, let's say I did buy Arkham Knight, but let's say I liked the season, I want to get the season pass. How would I have the foresight to know that I would be disappointed with that season pass? Same thing with Destiny. I bought Destiny. I didn't know I was going to be disappointed by it. Then I got disappointed and got salty over it a little bit. I mean, I got over it, but it's just kind of how was I supposed to know? And that's why people keep buying season passes, because they trust the company that when they get them, they're disappointed. So of course they're going to complain about it because they didn't expect to get a turd. I can hype up you know, like this, I can hype this up. This thing I'm working on the storyboard. I can hype the final product up. I can like be like, oh yeah, it's gonna be great. And you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know if it was gonna be great or not. You would just be like, okay, it might be great. And then you'd buy it, and then you'd look at it and tell me, wow, this is a piece of shit. I can't believe I bought this. How were you supposed to know that was gonna be a piece of shit from the beginning? Because I told you it was gonna be great. So that's why people buy these season passes. Yeah, it's shitty. I mean, I kind of stopped buying season passes entirely because I kind of don't feel a point. But that's why most people, at least most or some people, buy season passes because they have no foresight as to know that, oh, this will disappoint me in the future.
So,
just saying.
So, let's be honest here. Okay?
Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. It's true. This is a common practice now. Most game developers, they're doing this, and they're having issue with it, and people are giving them shit for it. Yet, it's true that it seems like a lot of these games are still doing well. Right? How many people complained about Evolve? Yet, Evolve actually sold pretty well, right? Batman, Arkham Knight, everyone said, why would we buy this expensive season pass before we know what's in it? Yet the season, everyone...
Whoa. Okay, Phil. I gotta correct you there. Because I follow the Batman Arkham games official Facebook page. They actually did explain what's in the season pass of Batman Arkham Knight. That's how I found out about the Batgirl DLC, the Challenge Map DLC, the Racing Map DLC, the Racing DLC, the Nightwing DLC, and so on. Because they talked about it on their Facebook page. So they didn't really just throw out the season pass and not explain it. They kind of said what's in the season pass. They made a long, lengthy Facebook post about this. So yeah, there you go. I mean, that good job researching,
bought the
Phil.
Season. Well, I would say everyone. A lot of people bought the season pass because they got all hyped about Arkham Knight, right?
Like Phil,
so
he bought the season pass.
He's a valid position here and a valid thing that he's saying. All right. Here's the thing, and at least I can tell you from my perspective and from the perspective of everyone else. My perspective is the reason that I would buy into this stuff. Why did I buy Evolve when I knew it didn't have a lot of content at launch? Because not only am I a gamer, but I'm also a reviewer, and I share my thoughts about the games as I play them with the public. And by me buying that game, even though maybe it wasn't worth $60 in my eyes, right, I was able to experience that and relay that to you. So now, hopefully...
Okay, Phil, I'm going to play little devil's advocate here. So when the new Batman DLC came out, the new one for Nightwing, you refused to cover it. You bought the season pass, and you refused to cover the Nightwing DLC. So if I was a fan of yours, how would I know? And I'm waiting for you to play Batman Arkham Knight's DLC, so I know if it's worth it or not. How would I know if it was worth it since you refused to play it? So you're kind of failing at your job already at that point, because you're not telling me if this Nightwing DLC is worth it. The only thing you told me was that it came out at a bad time for you. Okay, but you know what? You canceled Tony Hawk because that game was, in your words, a piece of shit. So instead of just trying to fill in the gap with playing Arkham Knight or Crash Bandicoot 2, actually you might do Crash Bandicoot 2 at this point, but you're not doing the new Arkham Knight DLC because it says that it's an hour long, but you already bought it. You could have at least done a playthrough of it, and then did like a review or something so me, the fan, could know if I wanted to spend the money on it. So you're kind of failing at what you're saying you do. So good job, Phil.
You didn't spend that same $60 that I did, and you save your money and you don't waste your money on crap, okay? Now, the other thing, of course, keep in mind, I also make YouTube videos. I do live streams, so I make money of other ways from these games. So for me, even though I paid $60 and necessarily the game wasn't great, it's business, it's work for me. So for me, it makes sense. It's my job to cover these games and relay that information to you of my experiences with them, all right? So when I buy the Batman Arkham Knight Season Pass and the Season Pass sucks, at the end of the Season Pass, I'll tell you that the fucking Season Pass sucked and don't buy Season Passes. Well, I need to buy the Season Pass in order to know whether or not it's going to suck, all right?
Again, you didn't finish the Arkham Knight Season Pass. You're not playing the Nightwing DLC. Okay, Phil.
The common gamer, I'll be honest here. How can you say the Arkham Knight
Season Pass will suck if you haven't played it?
Right, I mean,
I know he's not saying it sucks. He's using it as an example, but come on.
Here's what I think, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
People get caught up too much in hype. It's that simple. The new big release
says the guy that was hyping the shit out of a beta.
For this month is Evolve. Well, everyone says that, oh, it looks good. We're gonna play it. Oh, okay. Now you hear people saying it's not worth the money. You don't buy. Oh, well, I don't know. I'll get it. I'll get it, and I'll judge for myself. And then they get it. Fucking shit. Fucking piece of shit game. Didn't have enough content. And that's the problem. People allow themselves to be caught up with the hype and the marketing machine and all this stuff. And they buy it anyway, even when they hear from all these different areas. It's not good. Not enough content. Don't buy.
Yeah, but that. Like if I followed what all reviewers say and listen to they have different opinions than me. I mean, I love Metal Gear Solid 5. A lot of people disagree with that. And that's fine. I'm not saying that you have to love that game, but I understand why people don't like that game. But if I listen to all these people that are saying Metal Gear Solid 5 is a waste of time and it has cut content and all this kind of stuff, I would never have played it and see that it was actually a fun game that, might have some flaws and faults in it, but I completely enjoyed it. Same thing with all these other games. Like, if I let other people tell me, I probably wouldn't have played Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 because everyone was saying don't buy it, and I bought it and I had a lot of fun with it. But again, everyone has different tastes. That's why people don't listen to other people half the time, because they have their own opinions on things. But whatever.
The DLC, don't get this game because there's not enough content. They still do it because they get caught up in the hype of it. And that's the problem, is that people will always, there's this sheepish, I hate to say it, sheepish mentality, right? You see the ad on TV that says Destiny is a game that will change it's not a game, it's an experience. It'll change your gameplay life. Wow, I need to get Destiny. And you play it and you're like, what the fuck is this? And that's the problem. People buy in.
It's like
they buy into the group mentality of this is great. This hype mentality. It's not just gaming. It's everything on YouTube. The YouTubers who have the highest views, check out some of their videos. And if you've never seen them before, you might be like, why the fuck does this video have any kind of viewership? Because it's popular because of the hype mentality. Because this video has tons of views, it must be good. Because this game has an ad on television and everyone's...
This video has 3,532 views, so it must be good. This must be a good video because it has that many views.
Buzzing about it, it must be good, right? And you're like this, well, I'll try it for myself, and then you end up fucking yourself because you bought the shit that was terrible.
I'm watching this shit, that's terrible. I fall for the hype.
As long as people are easy to convince that something is good, even when everyone else tells them it isn't, this practice will still happen. It will eventually, hopefully, I would think, that people would learn their lesson, and after you get burned once, twice, thrice, and finally you've wasted so much of your money, and you're like, fuck, I just bought 4 games in the past year, all were overhyped, they all sucked. I bought this season pass. It was a piece of shit. That people would stop doing it. But I don't know. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I don't know if that's the mentality of people. They fall for shit. It's the mob mentality, the sheep mentality. People have always fallen for this. All of marketing is basically based around this, getting a group mind mentality to fall for something so they'll buy your product or they'll do what you want them to do. That's marketing. That's actually something
Phil knows. He has a business degree, and he's surviving on YouTube. I mean,
yeah, it sucks. It is counterproductive to buy it and then bitch about it afterward. People need to learn their lesson and not fall into the, just because it's hyped and everyone says it's going to be good, I need to play it. And, of course, the other thing, unfortunately, and I will say this too, is people get into the hype of, I need to play something on launch day. I need to play it on launch day because that's the day it's new and fresh and everyone's playing it, right? If I play that game 2 weeks after launch day, well, I've already missed out. And that's the mentality people need to get out of. If you wait 2 weeks...
Yeah, Phil, you need to get out of that mentality.
It's worth your money. How many people didn't buy Evolve, waited 2 weeks and heard from everyone there's not enough content, it's a repetitive game, and they didn't buy it, and they're like, wow, now I could spend my $60 on something better. And then, oh no, they missed out on the launch day hype, but hey, they saved their $60, right? So there you have it.
At the end, is that it?
Okay.
Okay, let's see.
Next question is from...
Hold on. Let's see this DLC... I'm not gonna listen to that. I'll do that one. See what this one's all about.
The next question. This is an interesting question. I get asked this question all the time. I really do. All right.
Okay.
From Nadodur. I have no idea if I said that correct. Nadodur. All right. Here's this question. He says,
I like
Phil,
that the bottom is
earlier in
like
the year,
so
Seamus,
like
who's
wordy.
known as SSOHPKC, and you've mentioned many times in your videos before, someone that you know,
You
who's a
should
popular
just
gaming
say
YouTuber,
support him on Patreon.
disabled all of the
Follow him on
comments
Twitter.
on his videos,
That's it.
followed later by the Creatures, who's the group of gamers who he's associated with, who temporarily disabled the comment section on their entire Creature Hub channel and moved the discussion to their own personal forums. Would you consider doing the same? Without huge amount of dislikes, nasty comments from people on your videos, and with a forum filled with only your fans who enjoy your content, you'd finally have some aura of positivity around your channel. Every other comment would cease to be, what's with all the dislikes on this video, followed by pretty much an overall comment section civil war between fans and haters. All of that would allow us, the fans, to enjoy and laugh and be frustrated at your content without that hater nonsense clouding everything.
I'm sorry, but like if hater comments kind of detract or kind of make you not enjoy a video, then that's kind of silly, because I watch like so many other YouTubers like Mega64, Critical, all these other YouTubers, and they get some hater comments, and that doesn't stop me from liking the video anymore. I mean, Mega64 used to get a lot of hater comments, a lot of like hate, and I still watch their content. I don't care. I think hater comments can be funny sometimes. I enjoy reading them sometimes, but I mean, I got one on one of my videos a few weeks ago, and I laughed at it. I was like, "Wow, this is ridiculous." And then I decided to kind of comment on his blog, because he had no reply. So I was like, you know what? If he wants to have a conversation, let's have a conversation. And he never responded. So I guess I won that conversation, I won that argument, I guess. But yeah, it's like, really, people are getting that distracted from your videos by your comments.
Okay, fair enough. This has been a hot topic over the past couple of years, since obviously a ton of immature people have flooded my content, whether it's the videos on YouTube, my live streams, even my forums, with nasty negative shit. You'll see certain games, not every game, but certain games, all of a sudden, even regardless of what's in the video, if I'm doing well or I'm doing shitty, tons of thumbs down on the videos, right? Phil sucks monkey shit. Phil's a fucking Hitler of the gaming and all this ridiculous negative stuff all over the video. And I said, years ago, I tried to actually moderate that stuff, and I basically made it known a couple of years ago. I said, I'm not going to bother with it anymore, because there's no way. I spend more time moderating the comments on my videos than actually playing games.
Okay, I'm sorry, but like if you used to moderate your channels and your comments on your channels, and then announce you're not going to do that, that to me would actually open the floodgates and have more trolls come to your videos, because you say you don't moderate, but then I see you respond to hater comments sometimes, Phil. So there you go, and then you even talk about them.
It's not worth it.
You talk about your haters more than your actual fans.
YouTube. The problem is YouTube has made zero effort in all the years that they've existed.
Oh, so
YouTube
has to take care of it.
Website where discussion
YouTube has to moderate every single channel's comment section.
Can be had and trolling can be stopped. YouTube doesn't care, and I've said this before. Everything I'm saying in this video I've said before. Google and YouTube don't care about you. They don't care about the viewer, they don't care about the uploader, they don't care about anything but themselves. They don't care that the comments of YouTube videos are garbage. They don't care that there's racism, that there's nasty clone accounts that have Hitler's face on them, and that people are using the N-word like crazy. They don't care about any of that.
Wait, okay. This guy criticizes Anita for making big deals and all that kind of on small things, over kind of bashes social justice warriors as a whole, and then says that, well, people should be censored because of the things they say, and because they say the N-word and they have pictures of Hitler as their profile pictures. I mean, yeah, that shit is offensive. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not offensive, but obviously these people are trolls and they want to get a reaction out of you, and that's what they're getting right now. They're getting a reaction out of you. That's why they troll you, Phil. They don't troll you because they want to be offensive. They troll you because they think your reaction to them is hilarious. And
about is if they're making money and if they're getting sued. Never. And as long as they're making money and they're not getting sued, that's all they give a shit about. So
yeah, because again, I've said this in another video, but let's say you have a video service. You open your own version of YouTube to compete with them, and you tell everyone, whatever happens, I'll deal with it as well, and all this kind of stuff. Are you really gonna look forward to dealing with all these potential lawsuits between you, the YouTuber, and the person that's filing the lawsuit? Do you really want to handle all of those lawsuits? That would take so much time and money. Like, of course YouTube's not gonna do that because they don't want to spend the money on everyone's YouTube channel that might be at risk. I mean, it's a risk that they don't have to take. But whatever. Let's
no
continue.
effort whatsoever to make YouTube a better experience. In fact, it's gone backwards. When I started on YouTube in 2008, it was a much better experience to watch a video. Wow, read the comments. It was fun. Now it's utter shit.
Yeah, because when YouTube started at a small little circle like Blip TV, that was a small, tight-knit group of people who were using that service. You said some very racial things about, you made Jewish jokes, all this kind of stuff, which is kind of ironic that you say that, oh, everyone on YouTube says the N-word and all this racist shit, but when you say racist shit, you're joking. Maybe they're joking too with your logic, but whatever. You say that Blip TV bans you, then you got salty over that. YouTube is a huge service with a lot of members and users and all this kind of stuff. YouTube doesn't have the resources to go through all of these people who are using YouTube in many different ways. That is ridiculous.
These immature people have flocked to YouTube. This is their breeding ground for getting their jollies, and they will shit on anything just for the sake of shitting. Just to throw their shit. It doesn't even matter if it's shit worthy or not. God. They will shit.
This count how many times he said shit in a sentence, dude. Like, and that's just shit. Like, wow.
So,
wow, how many times does he have to say the shit?
Have said to me, Phil, why don't you just disable all of your comments?
He disabled YouTube chat time to time, and then has his own chat on his own website.
Thumbs up or thumbs down, disable those, and put out your videos. Then people don't have to worry about that anymore, right? And this guy is making an interesting case. He's saying, why don't you do what?
But he also did disable not ads. Disable. He never does that. He never disabled. He disabled comments and likes on a few videos in the past, like the one when he apologized. Well, kind of apologized about promoting cyberbullying on this one guy or whatever. He disabled comments and likes on that video. He disabled likes on his some of his figure videos. So there you go.
Seamus and the Creatures did. And why don't you make it, if you want to discuss these videos, come to my forums. Alright? It's an interesting premise. It certainly is. Alright?
It's an interesting premise, but he does it.
There's a few reasons why I probably wouldn't do that. Okay? Number one. Okay? YouTube is the hub of everything. And I just want people to understand that. Regardless of the fact that I have a website here, and I'm on Twitter here, and I have an Instagram here, and I do things here and here, YouTube is the end-all and be-all of my business. If YouTube went out of business, I would have to find another way to make money. Because YouTube is my business.
He gets
that is the core. That's where people
There's no job security
my live
in
streams,
YouTube.
my on-demand videos, everything. YouTube. All right?
Like,
it is very difficult to take an audience and have them go from YouTube to something else. I know this for a fact because I experimented with Blip TV and other things over the years. It's very hard just to get people to go to one YouTube channel to another. It's hard to get carryover. It really is. You know how many people used to watch my vlogs, and then when I integrated the vlogs into DSP Gaming and then put them back on their own vlogging channel 2 years ago, half my viewership audience on my vlogs left. And that's just the case. Getting people, to move around is difficult. All right? If I were to disable comments and thumbs up and all that, all right, all the trolling would go away, absolutely. But
it wouldn't go away.
Every once in a while, I'll play a game.
I'm sorry, but if you disable comments,
every once in a while, I'll
trolls,
do something
haters, and detractors use that against you.
It strikes a note. It strikes a note with the viewership, and they want to talk about it, and they want to either thumbs it up or thumbs it down, right? They want to do these things.
I also think it's funny that he's saying all this, but he's plugging his Twitter and his Patreon here. So it's like, you can talk to me on Twitter.
Detriment to take away the ability to share or interact with people about something momentous that I do than to just put up with the daily trolling. Because let's face it, I've now for over 2 years. It's been 2012 when the first "This Is How You Don't Play" video was made. So 3 years now, I've had it. I'm still here. I'm still able to make money. This is still my full-time business. So all the years of trolling, all the shit they've tried to do to me was unsuccessful. I'm still fucking here. And I'm still enjoying what I'm doing on a daily basis, and I'm still able to do it, right? So what really is hurt by having that stupid trolling shit happen every once in a while? Not that much, right? Number two, if I were to turn off everything on YouTube and say, go to the website, now we're talking. Now I'd have to get way more forum moderators. I'd have to find a way to run the forums a lot better. Because I'll be honest, the forums are there, and people who want to chat on them do, and I use them for things like questions for Ask the King and polls and stuff like that. But ultimately, it's not something that I'm using on a daily basis, and it's not something that is integral to my business. Even if the forums went away, I could exist, right? If I made
a few years ago or so, I don't remember when this happened, but his channel went down, and he really, really got worried that when his website got down, he was acting as if his life was being threatened again. And now it's oh, it's not a big deal. Okay.
That all discussion about me were to be on the forums. Now all the trolling from YouTube is now going to spill over to the forums. So now you got to put all these safeguards in place. You got to have a double, triple moderation staff. We're happy right now with how the forums are, and even though there's not a lot of people, I'll be honest, there's not a lot of people who chat regularly on thekingofhate.com. But those that do enjoy it, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time and effort and money and getting all these people. And it's the other thing, reliant on other people. Now I have to be reliant on tons of other people again. And what's to say that someone doesn't change their opinion of me and decide, this is what happened last year. Someone decides to destroy the whole fucking website for selfish reasons, right? And it wasn't worth it. And ultimately, I'd rather have it that my main focus of my business is YouTube, not YouTube and the forums and this and that, and it's just too much. If I were more than one person, maybe I could do it, but I can't. You got Seamus and the Creatures. They're a group of people who all work together and help each other. I'm a one-man show and always have been. There's no way that I could do the forums by myself. I can manage YouTube myself. I can't do the forums and everything by myself, too. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
So, quite honestly... it is what it is. And I'm okay. People are going to troll no matter what. People are going to thumbs down, and they're going to fucking say nasty shit.
What a great soundproofing phone
go ahead, because for 3 years you've tried. Certainly, I'm still here. You haven't fucking gotten me off the internet. I'm not going anywhere. All that trolling's for nothing. All you're wasting your own fucking time. And I like it. Like I said, when I make a video, every once in a while it has some...
You know what? I watched the Socast the other day. Sons of Kojima, they do a podcast. It's a great podcast. I actually started listening to it. It's pretty dope. Pretty cool people. Pretty cool crew and cast of people. They had Sammy Samosa on the other night, which was a nice little headache I had to deal with. And I applaud Fred. Little shout out to you, Fred Fox. You are a true champion. I really would have ripped my head off and just no. So saying that, Sammy made the same argument as Phil is basically. I mean, but more obviously, Sammy said it in a more stupid way that you can actually imagine. That you can imagine. I mean, it's just sorry. That no one in the heater group or in this drug, not even me. I don't even think this either. We don't want him to go. We don't want him to be destroyed or be homeless. It's just he needs to understand that there's consequences for how he acts. If he's gonna keep acting like an asshole and giving people a reason to suspect that his Patreon's a scam, maybe he doesn't deserve that money. If he were to change his Patreon, if he decided to follow through with the pledges that he promotes, and he actually does stuff like that, and doesn't act like a child half the time, then maybe people would change their tune on him. And that's what I got from these haters, is that they don't really hate the guy. I mean, I don't hate the guy either, but I don't think that they're only doing this because they disagree with him, and they're just giving him criticism. They're not saying that he's an ass. That they're not saying that this guy deserves to be destroyed, or that he should be taken out, or whatever, or that he shouldn't be on YouTube anymore. It's just, if he's not gonna act mature and be modest and grateful for the situation he's in, then there's really no point why people shouldn't criticize him. Because he deserves half the criticism he gets. That's what I'm saying, is that if I made a video and I say things that is just complete nonsense, and someone's gonna comment and call me out on that, I'm not gonna tell him that he's an asshole for it. I'll be like, oh well, if I disagree with that comment, I'll say my piece. If I agree with it, I'll agree with that. But if I disagree, I wouldn't insult the guy. This guy called the guy retarded for buying Destiny. He said, "Don't take it as an insult, but if you bought Destiny, you need to get your head checked, and you're mentally ill." Like, what kind of comment is that?
Important to say.
I don't know. That's a little tangent on this guy.
That
come
people
on.
are able to comment on it and share that. I like that. So therefore, there you have it. That's why I'm not going to do what Sheamus and the Creatures did. Okay.
Okay.
All right. One more question.
Well, let's see what the last question is. I think the last one's. Do I want to do it? I don't want to do that one. Okay, let's see what's in here. What's in store here? Stance on HD remastered. Let's listen to that.
Let's continue. All right, this next question is from GL, and he asks the following.
Wait a second.
Says, what's your stance on the modern rehashing of classic 90s to 2000s video games? It seems like many video games that people have grown up with are now making their grand return in HD quality remakes or remasters.
Well, I might have to go back to part 1 after this.
Notable games like Resident Evil 2, Shenmue, Final Fantasy VII have been announced and are sending fans into frenzies across the globe. Be it a cheap cash-in or respectful tribute to their fan bases, how do you feel about the video game industry taking this road? It depends. It depends, and the reason I say that is because some of these HD remakes have been fan-requested for quite a long time, and some of them have not. So, for example, Final Fantasy VII. People have been asking for that game to be remade, whether just redrawn and redone in HD or completely remastered and redesigned from the ground up, because people really have that game in high regard. They hold it close to their hearts, as that was the modern RPG that took JRPGs into the mainstream because it was on the PlayStation.
Oh boy, more. Oh dude, you see on top of Final Fantasy VII,
artwork,
man.
Brought them into polygons, 3D.
Damn.
And really, that's where the Final Fantasy series, which had been incredibly popular up to that point, that's where it exploded and became synonymous with JRPG worldwide. It was Final Fantasy VII. Okay. So I can understand why people would maybe want that game to be replayed or remade, because I'll be honest, the game, when you play it, is not very good, in my opinion. Like, it does not age well. It really is a more archaic game. The graphics are pretty bad. A lot of the blockiness.
The graphics are pretty bad. I mean, it's not like it's on a PlayStation 1. It's not like the game was made and designed and developed on a PlayStation 1 hardware. I mean, was he expecting PS2 graphics?
And nastiness of the graphics, and there's just things that they've improved over the years with RPGs that was not present in that first 3D Final Fantasy game.
3D?
Shenmue, right?
Wait, what is that? 3D? What? Why was that in quotation marks? It wasn't 3D.
Right? Shenmue, that's a series that hasn't been around in 100 years. We're finally going to get a new installment. Resident Evil 2, people have been asking to be remade for how long? I think that if there's a game that's old enough, that there's a whole different generation that's experienced it, and you want this game to be re-experienced for a more modern generation, then an HD remake or redesign or remaster is warranted. In addition, if there's a game that had such a huge fan base that people want to see it again in a more modernized version, then it's warranted. What I don't agree with...
But people wanted to see Final Fantasy remade for all the stuff that you just said, so... Okay.
Is people taking these games from the PlayStation 3 and saying, oh, it's the HD remaster on PS4. That's fucking bullshit. Some people, are you going to play God of War 3 remastered on PS4, Phil? No! The game...
But he played The Last of Us remastered. That was a PS3 game on a PS4, and he might maybe play Uncharted, the Drake collection, whatever.
It's great on PS3. The PS4 version adds nothing. Besides maybe a few graphical overhauls here or there. Why the fuck would I rebuy and replay the same fucking game? The Gears of War collection that just came out. If you're a huge fan of Gears of War and you want that collection all in one, okay. But those games looked great on Xbox 360. I don't need a 1080p version of the game I played in 720p and everything's identical. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no reason for a lot of these games to exist.
But the thing is that the reason why these games exist is because when people buy an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4, they might not want to plug in their PS3 to play a favorite game. So that's why they would buy a Gears of War collection on the Xbox One, is so that they can always go back and play those games on that console without having to find their 360, find their controller, charge it, all that kind of stuff. So it's, I mean, you can kind of make the argument that with the backwards compatibility that maybe that Gears of War is going to be a supported game, but at this point I doubt it since they would kind of stop sales of their Gears of War collection. So there you go.
You know what I mean? And in that regard, I think it's silly that some of these games that are not even 5 to 10 years old are getting HD remakes like it needs to come out again. Fuck, man. Final Fantasy X just had an HD re-release on the PlayStation 3. A year later, it's on PlayStation 4. Good Lord, and it's just like, oh my God, it's silly. It really is silly in that regard.
It's silly, man.
That there has to be a reason. If the game is so old that it's hard to get the original version, like, let's face it, Resident Evil 2, you can't play that on PS1 anymore. What you have to do is get the digital version on PSN or whatever, and play this emulated digital version that is kind of inferior to the original. So in that regard, of course, Resident Evil 2 should be remade modernly. You know what I mean? But God of War 3, and that's where I draw the line.
He was okay with Resident Evil 2 being remade, but Final Fantasy 7, no, that shouldn't be remade. Okay.
The game is old enough. If the game has enough of a demand that people want to see it come back, or you feel that a new generation can experience it with a more modern version of it, great, remake it. But don't do the same fucking game that came out 2 years ago in HD. Oh, it's HD now on PS4, and tell me it's a new game, and that's ridiculous. All right. Next question is from Atlas.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. I don't care about that. Where does the line between Finn? Yeah, this is what he has to say about this.
This is the final question from the forums, ladies and gentlemen. This one is from Street Guru.
Street Guru.
And he says, Phil, in Metal Gear Solid 5, you have Quiet, who's clearly there for some fan service. I mean, tits out the whole game, right? But she isn't just a background character, and generally isn't portrayed as a sexual object in the game, aside from maybe one scene, kind of. So for you, where does the line between fan service and explicit sexual pandering get drawn? Where does Bayonetta fit into this? She's clearly meant to be sexy, but still has characterization and is the main character of the game. Listen.
And Bayonetta is a goofy game. I played Bayonetta. There's no way that game is meant to be taken seriously. So if you played Bayonetta and it's like, this is offensive and blah blah blah, then you're like overthinking that game. That game is like, about witches killing angels, and she does like all these like it's just, there's no way you could sit there and tell me that. No, it's a goofy show.
This is what the SJWs that I mentioned earlier on this episode come into play.
I don't get why you put these in parts, to be
Sexuality is not
honest.
a bad thing.
Whatever.
Sexuality is a core part of the human experience. Humans need to be attracted to each other to have sex and reproduce and keep the race going. It's a natural thing. There's nothing wrong with sexuality at all. There is something wrong with an overabundance of sexuality because everything needs to be in moderation, right? So if you have a video game with a sexy character and that character is meant to be the sexy character...
I kind of want to see him watch Kill la Kill. I really want Phil to watch Kill la Kill because I really want to see what his opinion of that show is. I'm sure he's going to say a lot of dumb things about that show, but I really want to know.
Great. If you have a game where the entire game is naked girls, that's a little different. You know what I mean?
There was a game of this PS4 game that came out in the summer. I think it was like, it had some weird names like Oni. Sorry, someone on the comments correct me, but it's some long name that's a sequel. And it came with like a DLC costume where these girls just wear like dessert on their body. So it's just like like strawberries on their breasts and like a banana peel on in my crotch. So it's like I think it's called like a sundae or something, like a banana split sundae or something.
Quiet in Metal Gear Solid 5, who barely wears any clothing, and it's pretty obvious that Kojima did it because he wanted to have a sexy girl in his game. Okay, sexuality.
But he didn't do it because of that. He did it because he wanted players to. And you could argue that if he failed on this. I mean, I'm sure people can disagree with this. I'm not saying that this excuses it, but the reason why Kojima had this character be half naked is because she has these parasites inside her, and she has to breathe through her skin. So putting on clothes would definitely cause her to suffocate. That is the reason behind that. that's the reason that Kojima is giving us. It's as much of a reason as why Kill la Kill the characters are half naked. It's the same kind of thing where it's like, yeah, it makes sense in Kill la Kill why the characters are half naked, but you don't really need to have them like that. But whatever.
Right? But the whole game wasn't about kidnapping sexy girls and having a harem of girls and fucking them, was it? No. So there's a line you need to draw. Now, SJWs will have you believe that every bit of sexuality everywhere is bad and wrong and evil. How dare there be a tit here and a boob here? How dare this girl not be a completely gender neutral, non-sexual character? It's like sexuality of women is bad. It's not. And this is the problem with these SJWs, is they want to just find issues for the sake of getting attention for themselves rather than actually solving any kind of a social issue.
Okay, can we stop talking about SJWs? Let's talk about your opinion on this.
There will be more female sexuality in video games because, yes, it's still proven that when it comes to AAA, big-budget video games, more men buy them than women. That's a statistical fact. More men spend more money on video games than women. If you look overall, okay, it's kind of even because there's mobile games and all that. But if you're looking at the big budget titles, yes, more men buy them than women. So they're going to have more female sexuality than male sexuality, right? Obviously, it's Business 101. It's going to
Skullgirls, that's a big budget game apparently because they have nothing but attractive girls in that game.
Quiet and said, I'm going to buy Metal Gear Solid 5 now because there's a sexy naked chick.
Well, except for Double and Pain, but you get my picture.
Almost. But still, that'll happen. You're always going to have that fucking market. It's always going to exist. You'll never go away. Unless you want to have a completely sterilized society where sex is just some kind of a thing that's barely spoken of and is only done in for pure necessity with no enjoyment, no kind of seduction or attraction or anything whatsoever. It's just plain vanilla boring. That's apparently what these SJWs want. Well, they can have that fucking world and go live on a fucking...
That wasn't what the question was. Just talk about the question and your opinion. Why does it always have to go back to SJWs? You already talked about the social justice warriors. Move on, Phil. Talk about the question at hand.
Another planet or an island or wherever the fuck
my God, what is this?
I enjoy having a little flair every once in a while and having a little arousal or whatever it is that you get from, from games.
From.
Now, Bayonetta, yeah. Is the main character sexualized? Absolutely. But she's also empowered. She's incredibly powerful. She's the most powerful character in the entire universe. She's very assertive. She's an individual. What's wrong with having some sexualization if you're a strong and powerful individual? But the SJWs, oh God, it's terrible to have any kind of sexualization.
Again, talking about SJWs.
Go live by yourself in fucking boring, the nation of boredom. That's what we'll call where you live. And you can all fucking be all PC with each other in a fucking circle in a padded fucking room so no one could ever...
So if you don't have any sexualization in your game is boring. Okay, Phil.
Ever injure each other or hurt each other, and you do your shit to yourself.
I mean, again,
and leave all those
I don't want to talk too much about social justice warriors or Anita, but the thing is that I understand kind of what they're talking about with sexualization in games. I get it. I mean, it's not... I don't think it's a complete non-issue, but I don't think it's a big issue. But I see what they're trying to say when they bring it up. I mean, it's kind of like how I feel with Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann at times, where, it's like you have these characters that are just very sexual, and, that's kind of why I stopped watching anime altogether, because I just kind of got tired of that. But, like, this isn't... But, like, just because, these are sexual characters, it's like, this is fun. I love it. Oh, this is great. This is fun. No, I mean, like, there's a character in, like, when I see a character and the female lead isn't that attractive, I don't care. It's not like, oh, man, I'm bored now because this person doesn't have tits hanging out. I don't know.
I'm a fucking humans alone because we like fun and you're a fucking bunch of bores.
Saying
How about that?
Or whatever.
Okay.
But let's talk about SJWs.
So, here we go.
Come on. Here we go.
Let's go ahead and do Twitter.
Okay, hold on. Let's see what else he's gonna talk in this video. So, Rock Band. He's scared. He's scared of Rock Band. What is my least favorite controllers ever? I don't want to. Actually, you know what? Let's hear. I just want to know what his controllers.
Next question from Darziak Gaming. He says, out of all the controllers you've used over your life, which is your favorite and what is the most disliked? My favorite is probably the Super NES controller. It was a combination of great control.
Very solid. It's a very solid controller.
Buttons and a contour that really fit your hand well. The D-pad was great. I could use the D-pad to play fighting games. It was actually so good. The buttons were responsive.
So
it was actually
good.
hard to break a Super NES controller unless you fucking threw it in rage, which I did a few times. And I really enjoyed it. My worst controller ever was also for the Super NES. It was called the Fight Stick Pro. It was released in tandem with Street Fighter.
Fight sticks, I don't care about fight sticks. Thoughts on walking simulators, thoughts on Destiny. Let's see what he has to say. And I think I'm just going to go back to part 1 because there's a question
from Ellis Island 69. Says, hey,
so,
Phil, will you be trying out Destiny the Taken King? I've heard it fixed a lot of the issues that you had with the game.
No!
Okay, if Destiny the Taken King fixed a lot of the complaints and issues that I had with Destiny last year, that's great. That's all well and good and dandy. Okay? The problem is, I already played Destiny last year. I paid $60 for it, just like everyone else. I played through a boring, unoriginal, rehashed game with content that was blatantly stolen from other franchises and just taped together into a monotonous, repetitive mess that really wasn't original and honestly wasn't very fun. Okay?
It wasn't fun.
I don't want to play Destiny ever again. I don't care how much they improve it. Bungie had one chance with the launch of their game to impress me. They did not.
They had one chance. I mean, like, I didn't like Destiny either. I thought that was disappointing. I didn't buy the new one, but I'm at least interested in it. I'm just waiting for a price drop, to be honest, for me to buy it. I'm not going to buy it at all at the current price. I think it's $40, not $60, so I don't know. I mean, even $40 is like a decent price to ask for that game, but I'm still waiting on a price, on a discount, because I would much rather buy the games at this point, but you know, it looked interesting, and I'm hearing good things about it, so that makes me more curious as to the game. You know, but I'm still waiting for a good price for me to buy it. I'm not buying it at $40. I'm not buying it, you know, with that price point. But saying a developer has one chance is a little ridiculous.
Ripped me off. I feel that $60 should have been spent on something else. That game was a piece of shit, and it doesn't matter how much the game was improved a year later. Here's the question. Can I play Destiny the Taken King, the improved version of Destiny, for free? No. Guess how much it costs? $60. They charge you...
Hold on. Let's go on a little field trip here, okay? Let's do a field trip. Guys. Destiny. Taken King. I just want the normal Taken King. But let's just do this, and then... this is not working the way I want. Destiny the Taken King. Oh snap! It is $60. Whoops! Phil, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was wrong here. Okay. It is $60. That is ridiculous. I'm not paying $60 for that. I'm probably gonna pay $40 at this point if it's $60, but I'm waiting for a price drop, as I said. But yeah, saying that they have
to play the new and improved version of Destiny. Sorry, Bungie, you should have had a game worth playing a year ago when everyone bought it the first time. You shouldn't force everyone to re-buy your game because now you finally made it good. Tough titties, first impression.
But it's a complete new Destiny game. It's not like they re-released the same game. And this is coming from a guy who bought, like, what is it, 4 versions of Street Fighter 4? Like, Street Fighter 4 Super, Arcade Edition, Ultra. Yeah, 4 editions of Street Fighter 4. He bought 4 editions, and then Destiny, well, we're doing the Taken King, has a new campaign, has new features, new everything. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. You know, they had one opportunity, and that's it. What the fuck, Phil?
Stay forever. Therefore, fuck Destiny. I don't care that it's improved or any better. I don't want to spend any more time on it. And quite honestly, you shouldn't either. Just because it's Bungie.
Yeah, I'll just spend money on Street Fighter 4 that have
put
updates.
Out that good, solid effort the first time around and not rip us off that first time. And that's the problem.
But what about Street Fighter 4, Phil? There's 4 editions of that game.
60 hours of repetitive grinding nonsense. Then, the end game's good. No. Sorry, the real game should have been good, not the grinding bullshit end game that 5% of people who ever played the game reached. Fuck Bungie. There you go.
Fuck Bungie. Fuck Bungie for doing what Capcom did. God damn it. Okay, that's Destiny got really salty about that. Okay, let's go back to part one because there was something there that I wanted to talk about. I don't know why I skipped it, but that's my bad, guys. That's my bad. Okay, it was the next question. Sweet.
I'd go for Xbox One. But in this case, this console generation was not equal. Next question is from Random Ron, and he says the following. Earlier this year, my campus video game club had a discussion on hardcore versus casual in backseat gaming. One thing that was mentioned was how the hardcore crowd can ruin an experience of the casual crowd, or how anyone who hasn't played the game that they've played, such as in cases where if someone grinds in certain games, he or she is frowned upon by the rest of the gaming community. Also, in my case, where I play a game everyone except me had in their childhood, I'm looked down upon for not having played the game the way that they played it. At the same time, I mentioned that a casual crowd can ruin an experience for the hardcore crowd. So, for example, in fighting games, rather than a lot of the time taking the time to learn the basics of a character, people will just learn a certain combo that everyone uses because it's overpowered or abusive. And, also in cases when you're trying to learn a game, you feel disheartened when you spend so much time learning the game, and you go against other people who only chose the overpowered character that only takes an hour to learn, or they set, a game with really simplified controls like Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and you lose not because you don't have more knowledge or you're playing at a higher skill level, but because they use the easy mode shit to win. So what are your thoughts on this, and do you feel that backseat
I wonder if all that stuff was actually in the question.
I've talked about this over the years, okay?
I wonder if that was in the question.
I've talked about this over the years, how it was many EVOs ago, I don't remember, but I made a video about this. A lot of people said, Phil, did you hear Justin Wong lost in Street Fighter 4 at EVO? And I said, yes. And they said, why do you think he lost? And I said, it's very simple. Because he takes the easy way out. He learns the over-abusive, high-powered characters that are easy to win with, and he only learns matchups with those characters. He doesn't go into
the game that plays the same group of characters in Street Fighter 4.
Strategies are. So that particular year, Justin Wong went up against a player named Gamer B, who was really...
When he did the Street Fighter 4 finale stream, he only picked the same groups of characters. I mean, there'd be a slight chance that he might pick the obscure characters, but he mostly picked the ones that he knows. So he's really much doing the same thing that he's criticizing Justin Wong for doing.
With Adon. By the way, Adon was a character almost no one was playing with. So because he didn't play with Adon, he didn't know what the fuck was going on. He got bodied and he lost. So that's the downfall of going for the abusive strategy. Now, sadly, there have been games over the years. Street Fighter 3 Third Strike is infamous for this. If you learn Chun-Li and you learn Ken in Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and those are the only characters you ever play with, you will win most of your matches because those are the two best characters besides Yoon. Yoon is actually overall the best character, but he's hard to play with because you need to have muscle memory and do all these really complex combos. So a lot of people over the years only played with those two characters and actually had a good tournament run in those games because they were playing the abusive, overpowered characters. And it's annoying. So for the hardcore gamer, right, if you really want to master a game and become a high tournament level player, when you see easy mode shit, like for example Street Fighter 4, it was Sagat. In vanilla Street Fighter 4, Sagat was incredibly overpowered. And there were people who only learned Sagat and were doing great and were winning tournaments with Sagat. And then when the next version came out and they nerfed Sagat, those players disappeared because Sagat wasn't good anymore. And they couldn't hang anymore because they just weren't good. They were using an abusive tactic, and for them to learn a higher level of gameplay, they couldn't handle it. So it's true. But the flip side of that
is like the easiest game,
in my opinion, is when you have a game that's not a competitive game, a game that's not meant to be competitive, and people will talk shit to you because you play it in a way that's not in their line of top-level gameplay, right? And listen, I will 100% admit that when I played the Metal Gear Solid series, I sucked at it. I didn't take any effort to learn or listen. I didn't care about the tutorials. I wasn't listening to the shit that was going on. And I was just kind of flubbing the games, trying to get through them and do kind of silly playthroughs of them. I didn't really give a shit about, these games are held in high regard and everyone respects Kojima or whatever. And I even,
bullshit. He was like, in his playthroughs, he was like, everyone has these games in high regard. I think I'm going to try them out. And, you kind of praise Metal Gear Solid 2 for saying, like, this game is talking about Pippa and Sopa, guys. I mean, this game pretty much predicted this. Blah, blah, blah. Kojima was ahead of his time in this game. Or some nonsense like that. And the other thing is that, if you don't care about about learning the basics of a game, then why are you playing then? It's like if I went out and bought... I don't really have an opinion on. Let's just use Diablo for an example. No, Fallout. There we go. Fallout. I don't really care that much about Fallout. I mean, I'm sure it's a great game. It's just not my kind of thing. I'm not gonna go buy and just be gone. Just I don't care. I just don't care about all the basics of this game. That's a waste of my time and a waste of my money. I mean that's not. And if I did that as a YouTube career, I'm wasting people's time with that.
Did Kojima and the game developer several times during the playthroughs, right? So absolutely, you could say when I played those games, I did not play them correctly. I just fucked around and somehow beat them, right?
He was like he was like the kind of guy in the playthroughs that he was trying to force a square box into a circle hole. Like it just wouldn't go, and instead of just like trying to fix it, or instead of trying something else, he just got a hammer and just kind of forced it through until it went through.
Who the fuck is to say that you have to play Metal Gear Solid one way? Honestly, who is the authority, the overall authority, who will say, listen, you must play the game this way, and if you don't, fuck you? Seriously, it's not a competitive game. It's a single...
Okay, but to go with your review of Metal Gear Solid 5, you said that the game punishes you for playing it one way. So which is it? You can play any way you want, or you have to play one way? I mean, you kind of are shooting yourself in the foot with this. No one ever said that you have to play the game one particular way. If you look at the comments or anywhere in Metal Gear Solid 3, and especially in the this is how you don't play, it's never really saying. Look at Philly. He's not playing it the way that we're playing it. They're saying that the whole point of those videos is that you're playing it, and this is kind of how I reacted to this video. I've never seen someone play Metal Gear Solid 3 like that. I was amazed that someone couldn't understand the basics of the game. He couldn't understand rations in Metal Gear Solid 2, which is beyond me. That was like the easiest thing to understand. He couldn't understand the M9 in MGS2. He couldn't understand how to use a sniper rifle in 3. You know, and it isn't a trick to use the sniper rifle. I mean, the game explains it to you directly in front of you, and you were like, it doesn't explain it. I tried looking at how to use the sniper rifle. It doesn't explain how to use the sniper rifle. That is the most ridiculous point. Come on,
player narrative game experience that is meant to be, enjoyed however you want. If you want to fuck with the game and suck at it, you can fuck with the game and suck at it.
But like, you weren't even having fun sucking at it. You were like getting increasingly angry and insulting Kojima. I mean, it goes far beyond joking because you sounded like, you know, when I play a game, I do get angry at games sometimes, and you know, and when I get angry, usually I either stop playing and I move on, or I try to cool myself down. When he was playing Metal Gear Solid 3, he just kept getting increasingly angry and angry and angry and not trying to like calm down or something. He just kept trying to force the game to go his way and to doing the thing the same way until the game ultimately forces him to change his tactics. I mean, when he was fighting the boss, he wanted to use the RPG. What?
Just because there are people who play a game a certain way and it's a master level playthrough and you pay attention to everything and you're super sneaking and you master the
You don't have to even pay attention that hard to understand how the game works. I mean, when I started playing Metal Gear Solid 3, I sucked at it. But I listened to what the game told me. They explained the camo index. They explained the survival viewer. They explained all the stuff that's necessary to understand. And that's how you get better. You don't just sit there like, I'm gonna fuck around. Oh, this guy's trying to tell me how to play the game. Shut up. I don't get it. This game is very cryptic. I mean, you complain about the game being cryptic, Phil, in all your videos.
That doesn't mean that that's the only way the game can be played. Now, if you're talking Street Fighter, for example, we'll go back to this. Street Fighter is a competitive game. And so, yes, there is a way to learn the game and be good at it, right, at a tournament level. But I'm not going to talk shit about a guy who doesn't want to play at a competitive level, who buys the game just to play it single player and enjoy it, and he picks Ryu, and he just jump kicks with roundhouse repeatedly. He ignored the tutorials, he didn't pay attention to the controls, all he does is jumping roundhouse. And he plays like crazy, and he beats the game, he beats the story of the game, just using jumping roundhouse with Ryu. I don't care. I'm not going to go to that guy's house and say, fuck you, you played it wrong, you're a fucking asshole. Now, that guy went on the internet and said, I am the best Street Fighter 4 player of all time. I will fuck up anyone who plays against me. And then
Okay, this guy claims to be the best fighting game player, you know, in history and all this stuff. All this time, I did a Let's Know of his Skullgirls playthrough. and you know, he didn't even play that game at all, like, decently. He kind of cheesed the game. I mean, yeah, that's a way to play it, but I think it's incredibly cheap to go to the final boss of that game, Marie, and just kind of spam R1. That is the most cheap way to win, and it's kind of unfair, and it's just kind of boring. Like, if I watched a guy do that, I wouldn't have watched it. And he's like, "Look at this! I'm the best Street Fighter. I'm the best fighting game player, and I'm doing one move to beat this boss." Come on.
He does his jumping roundhouse and he gets bodied. Yeah, then that's a different situation. The problem is people take video games so fucking seriously in a lot of cases. They don't see the difference between playing games casually for fun.
Says the guy who makes a living off of video games and takes video games seriously. He even went as far as to say that, you know, striking his channel or like whatever is like holding a gun at his face. Okay.
And playing a game on a competitive level. You can play Street Fighter on a competitive tournament level. It's designed to be that way. It's a one-on-one competitive game. There's no fucking competition for Metal Gear Solid. There's no fucking
except
competition
when there's
for
leaderboards.
Most games. It's just you doing a fun single-player experience. And it's not in anyone's fucking realm of authority to say that you played a game wrong. And so there's basically people who are guilty on both sides here. You know what I mean? There really are. There's people who are guilty on both sides of the fence. Shame on the competitive community for talking down to anyone who wants to play Street Fighter and have fun with it and maybe not learn the higher level gameplay. That's not right. That's bigotry. That's
bigotry.
An inclusive, elitist mentality community.
What? Bigotry? Wow. I would never have said bigotry.
Looked down upon. But shame on those who want to play casually but then say that they're the best, right? Understand that there's a competitive level that you didn't achieve. Flip side here is the people who aren't playing competitive games.
Oh, and this is coming from the guy who also tweeted and bragged about getting S ranks in Metal Gear Solid 5. I might have talked about this in the previous video, but he was like, "Oh, look at me! I got S ranks in Metal Gear. I'm the best."
On those who are playing these games and treating them like they are competitive, and goddamn, how dare someone play a game in another way? Fuck, that's ridiculous. That's insanely elitist. You know what I mean?
Insanely elitist. I
can understand that there is a casual versus
elitist is better than saying
bigotry. Hardcore competitive. It's always going to be there, especially with games that, like Street Fighter, can be played casually and competitively. Okay? You're going to have that dichotomy. You have to have a happy medium. You have to understand that some people will never be at that level, and some people will strive always to be at that level. So it all depends. It's a very subjective thing. It's not that you could say, right or wrong, who's in the right or who's in the wrong. You have to have an open mind, and you have to be understanding and just not be a really closed-minded, elitist, bigoted dick about it. And ultimately, let's face it, if these games were designed properly, for example, Street Fighter 4, if the game were designed properly, even if someone used an overpowered easy mode character, there should be a way to beat that character in a tournament. And ultimately,
there is a way to get good. I mean, if you're a really good player and someone's using a cheap tactic, you should be able to handle that. Like, when I play Skullgirls Online, there's people who use cheap tactics all the time. When I pick Eliza, I know how to deal with that most of the time. Because sometimes they might use the R1 as Beowulf and you just hit me with a chair. I just get up and do an air grab. That stops them. Sometimes I just do an upper block, and then I do all these kinds of moves that can handle that. You have to, like, if they're using cheap moves, you know what to expect at that point.
Yeah, even though Sagat did dominate in Street Fighter 4 Vanilla, ultimately, people found ways around it, and he didn't win every tournament. You know what I mean? So there will always be a way around the easy mode shit. And ultimately, Capcom should be striving to make games where the easy mode shit doesn't win tournaments. And that's on the game developer, not on the player at all.
No, it is on the player. What is up with him blaming the developer? It's not the developer's responsibility for the player to get good. The player should get good. If they see someone that's doing cheap shit, they should be able to react to that. Come on, man.
Final question.
Okay, I think that's it. That's it for this video. Before I say anything I might regret, thanks for watching this video. I really enjoyed actually doing this Ask of the King. Actually, this is better than his Hate Live video. My God. Thanks for watching. Go to my other channel if you want to see other videos that's not DSP related. I'm working on a video series that's almost done. I just finished recording some of the art stuff that I need to record. I got that footage done. I just need to do some other tweaks and kind of stuff, and then I'll start be uploading those videos soon. So stay tuned for that on that channel. That channel is Theo Does Videos. I might put the link in the description below. I probably will, maybe, if I'm not lazy. But thanks for watching. Hopefully you subscribe to my other channel. That's my main channel. This is kind of my fun DSP channel that I do when there's really nothing going on my other channel or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, just check those channels out. Thanks for watching this video, guys. See you next time.